So before we begin, safety is the most important thing. So first, let's shut off the main power. Okay, I'm pulling the disconnect like so. Once it's removed, condenser is safe to work. For this job, I'm using common hand tools. A drill is helpful if you have one. If not, you can simply use a screwdriver. We'll also need wire cutter, wire stripper, pliers, and socket sets. And this is the new fan motor I ordered from the Amazon. I think I paid a little bit over $100, and it comes with the capacitor. First step is to remove the fan cover on top of the condenser. The cover is held by 4 bolts, and we can remove them with the 7/16 socket. Next, carefully lift the top assembly, flip it over to check to see if the motor is seized. But the fan turns smoothly without any resistance. So at this point I'm thinking fan seems to be fine, so why isn't it running? For this panel, use 5/16 socket. There's 2 screws on this side, so there should be 2 more on the other side. But there's only 1. I guess whoever worked on it before lost one. Okay. Alright, there's a capacitor. I probably should replace the capacitor too, but I guess we'll see. These 3 wires lead to the capacitor. This capacitor is a little different than the new one. Super booster. So this super booster is like a capacitor, I guess. It's a device that gives the AC compressor an extra boost when it starts. The compressor requires quite a bit of power when it starts. The moment AC turns on, Super Booster provides that extra oomph to help the compressor start more easily. Simply put, think of it as giving the compressor a push from the behind when it starts. This capacitor is very different. 450 volt VAC, 60 hertz, 50-60 hertz. That's a little different. Guess I'll just try the same capacitor and replace it if needed. Let's disconnect the black cable. Yellow wires are connected together. The brown wire is separate. And this is where I made a mistake. I should have checked the capacitor more carefully before moving on to the fan motor. I guess I was just thinking something like this would not fail. And the new capacitor also had a different set of terminals, so I couldn't really use it even if I wanted to. Next, I'm removing the fan blade. Loosen up the set screw holding the fan blade here with the pliers like so. If the blade is stuck, just give it a little tap and it comes right off. But before I go any further, I need to check and see if this fits. If this doesn't fit, there's no point of going forward. Oh, it fits. Nice. The height looks good too. Next, I'm removing the fan motor. I probably will need to reuse this. Let's set it aside here. Okay, 7/16. Alright, doing the side-by-side comparison. The new one is a little taller, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. And if you look here, there's a rotation direction going this way. But the new one doesn't have one. And that's because this one, the rotation is reversible. So you can rotate in either direction. And here it says 1/10 of horsepower. This one also says 1/10 of horsepower. The RPM is 1100, RPM 1100. You can use 2 to 3 amps and 0.75 and 0.75. After checking the specs, I'm ready to install it onto the shroud. Just start the nuts by hand first, then snug them with the drill, install the fan blade, and tighten it with the set screw like so. Here we go, that looks good. Should be okay, right?
No.
Next, bring the motor assembly back over to the condenser, pull the wires out. The black wire goes here. The yellow goes here with this one. And brown wire was here. and put the capacitor and super booster back in place. And just in case, I'm not going to close the panel yet, but the wires inside of the condenser could get cut by the spinning blade, so let's clean them up, the zip ties. Then place the motor assembly on top of the condenser, pull the remaining wires, and organize everything neatly with the zip ties. Then reconnect the main power breaker. Okay, and alright, that looks good. As you can see here, there's quite a bit of clearance between the blade and the wire, so they should be okay. Cool. Turn on. I may need to shut it off quickly in case fan motor doesn't work. Not spinning. Okay, so motor is not the problem. I think the capacitor might be the issue then. Motor seems to be good, and I can see the motor tries to turn, so it's getting some power, so I think it's the capacitor. The problem is, the capacitor that came with the new motor only has 2 terminals. The original one has 3, so I don't think this will work. So the next step is to order a new capacitor and return the motor. Alright, the new capacitor came today from Amazon. It was like $16 or $17. I'll leave the link in the description. As you can see here, I bought a 3-terminal capacitor. Now you're wondering, what exactly is a capacitor? A capacitor is basically like a super booster I explained earlier. Fan motor and a compressor need an extra burst of energy when they start. The capacitor stores that electricity and then releases when the AC turns on. That gives the motor extra power to start spinning. Over time, especially after exposed to the heat for long periods, the capacitor will degrade and become inoperable. In some cases, the capacitor can even bulge out or leak. You can check whether the capacitor is bad or good by visual inspection or using the multimeter if it looks good from the outside. A typical AC capacitor has 3 terminals, C, Herm, and fan. C stands for common, Herm is for the compressor, and the fan connects to the fan motor. Basically, set the multimeter to the capacitance mode and measure each terminal combinations. Then compare the measured values with the rated value printed on the capacitor. If the measured value is within the range, then the capacitor is likely good. But if not, capacitor is likely bad. Alright, when transferring the wires, remove them one at a time from the old capacitor to the new one. Brown wire goes to the fan. Blue and black wire coming from the super booster connects to the Herm. The yellow and black wire connects to the common. Okay. And the remaining yellow connects to the fan. Then I compared everything with the photo I took earlier to make sure the connections are correct. Yellow and yellow, black and black, and blue. This one goes to the fan separately. Lastly, connect the power and turn on the AC one more time. Oh, it's set to 80. Let's set it to 78. Yes! Alright, let's shut it off again for now. Okay. And let's pull the main breaker. At first, I thought the motor was the problem. So I replaced the motor, but that didn't work. Then I replaced the capacitor and it did the job. I'm guessing it probably wasn't storing the energy needed to give the fan a kickstart when the signal came in to start it. It probably wasn't charging at all. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. I'll organize the rest of the cables and put the cover back on. Once everything is finished, we'll test it one more time. I started this repair thinking the fan motor had failed, but the actual problem was the much cheaper capacitor, and I am very thankful for that. If I had called a technician to diagnose the problem and do the repair, it could have cost around $200 to $300. And if this was an emergency service, another $100 to $200 could have been added. So this repair could have easily cost more than $500. Hopefully this video saves you some time, money, and the frustration if your condenser fan suddenly stops working. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I make videos like this whenever I tackle my home repairs or DIY projects. And hopefully my mistakes can make your repairs a lot easier. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.